going live again, so get your snorkels out and let me see some skins. Smoke ties, not drugs, what we teach the kids. I candy man, castrate that rap, the middle finger to the sky, scream fuck, rap the big cops trying to get me going state to state. No one talk.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Yeah, cool.
10 toes in when we standing on business.
Nice little intro. Rolling straight in.
Guys, we got Shady, aka Big Stepper here. I'm sure if you're on my YouTube channel, there's no introduction needed.
They already might be a bit fond of me.
Yes, but especially the blokes. But
Radio. Thanks again, bro. Appreciate it. It is a joke.
just to clear
Just
that
clear
up.
that up.
So Shady actually had a we were actually talking, and he actually come up with an idea because I guess I'm interviewing all these guests and talking about their stories and some crazy shit that's happened in their life, and I touch base on some of the experiences I can relate to, but Shady had the idea. Let's get a bit deeper into some of, I guess, almost swapping the roles here, where Shady's going to be asking me more questions. And I thought, you know what, it's actually a cool idea because I feel like I can relate to you being, you have that drive that I had at that age. I mean, you got your head screwed on a little bit more than I did. But being young and wanting to get out of the 9 to 5
Or even being in the same industry, I'd say, or like same kind of circles, but just different age gaps as well. Like I reckon it's quite cool too.
But even when you were working at was it Dodge?
Yeah, Dodge Ram.
And I remember we first started hanging out, and you just kept asking me every day, and you're like, "Fuck, I want to go do my own thing, but I'm scared I won't get enough money to pay my bills and this and that." And I'm like, "Fuck!" I remember that when I was at Autobahn, I was on that borderline where
It's like a scary jump. Yeah.
yeah, like in the end I was fine, but there was a lot in my head holding me back of the uncertainty and that scares you. And then like you said, same industry, getting involved with cars and flipping cars and stuff. That's what I started doing when I left, and
Starting your own little side gigs and businesses and stuff like that. And
I can relate a lot to it. And that's why I've always, I don't know. And then you've asked me some really good questions along the way that, like off camera, that I've forgotten about. Like you asked me something, you're like, "Oh, how did you do this?" Or "When did you do this?" And I
had like a big trip down memory lane.
yeah, it takes me back,
yeah.
and I'm like, "Fuck, I forgot those days." Like hustling that and doing that, and so I think you're the perfect person to ask some of that stuff because I think it's very relatable.
Which I just want to say as well, like, thanks. That's actually crazy that you trust me enough to even get on here and stuff like that.
Oh,
it's
right,
sick too. Like,
of
it's
course.
mad. It's actually sick, but yeah, no, definitely keen to get stuck in and dive as deep as we really want to go, or how shallow we want to go. I don't know. I just guess we got to kind of flow with it.
I'm easy. Anything from past, present, future.
No, sick.
And I know I saw you did like a Q&A on there.
On Instagram and stuff. So I got a few questions that some of you guys at home have asked us, and I guess we get stuck in. But I feel like, as you do, we got to kind of introduce our guest, which I'm the host, you're the guest in this situation. So I'd like to say Troy Williams, more commonly known as Troy Candy, was born in Victoria in 1990. Also, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. 89. Okay.
There you go.
Slightly out. Making his rise to fame through his entertaining personality, passion for cars, and successful business ventures. Kenny dropping out of graphics school to pursue his passion for cars. Troy is commonly known for his successful businesses ECM or iCandy Motorsports, G-Up, as well as his partnership with Adrian Portelli on LMCT+. He has also created nation-renowned responsible drinking tool, the Snorkel. To date, he has raised funds for numerous charities supporting causes such as education against violence, mental health, and bushfire victims. Candy moved from Melbourne to the Gold Coast in 2020, creating a beautiful family with his partner and fiance of 9 years.
2016, I met her. What's that? 8. Close
Enough. I was trying to do the math on that. Anita Casson, as well as his beautiful boy, St. Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, Troy Williams.
Fuck, did you chat GPT that?
No. I wrote that last night.
Fuck. It was, I forgot about some of those, even those charities and stuff. So there you go.
You got to Yeah, there's like I saw like an old website you had. It was like troycandy.com, but it's like taken down now. It's like still kind of live, but it had like a full breakdown.
Oh, might have been the merch.
Yeah, I think it was like your apparel one that you had
Yeah.
ages ago. Yeah, but nah, it was
There you go.
yeah, mad.
Interesting. So, yeah, I guess that is it. That is a quick rundown.
Little rundown.
Yeah,
Kind of sums up a few things, touches on a few topics. I guess we should dive into a bit more. But I feel like probably one of the biggest questions that I got through the Instagram stuff was how actually we even came about meeting, or how that even happened,
yeah.
and how that even kind of crossed over as well too. Which
I think you're on P's maybe.
yeah, I was on my P's when I had that thing.
And there was someone in my car. Can't remember. It might have been remember Danny, the flex and
Yeah.
detailer.
I think I remember this one too.
And I was like,
Is that when Adrian brought his Ferrari out too?
yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? Look at this P plater just fucking limiter bashing his fucking. I'm like, can you drive V8s in Queensland? He's like,
Nah, I had to get an exemption.
he's like, oh, no, that's Shady. He's built it from scratch. Like it was an engine swap and everything. I was like, oh, and that was the first time I think us maybe heard or seen of you in person.
yeah.
But I don't know, when did we start?
I don't know. It was
hanging
kind of
out?
like, I don't know. It was. I think it was through Trey originally. I became close with Trey, and we started doing content, and then that was our first proper like, I don't know, filming or hangout or whatever you want to call it. I think it was through Trey or something for some sort of content, and then from there.
It wasn't that day we went to the cane fields.
No, that was
Old
that was
Mill?
like a couple of days later. But I reckon that was the other thing too. Is then we started filming a little bit more there, and it just kind of spiraled from there, which is sick. But
I guess you hanging out with you boys is fuck, this podcast's gonna make me sound so old. But when like I'm at that stage in my life where your age I had all my car mates, I had everything, and then everyone gets commitments, family, work, moves apart, this, that. So your car mates split up, or maybe they get into 4Bs and stuff, so they're into 4 driving and this and that.
just different paths and directions.
Yeah, and then I'm still into my like HSVs and that, but you find yourself you want to go for a drive, but you're like, fuck, got no one to go cruising with, or got and I think that's a huge part of like owning the car is actually those fun Sunday cruises or those weeknight runs and stuff. And then when I started hanging out with you boys, I was a bit borderline over
the whole
car
scene.
stuff.
Yep.
And I think from working in iCandy Motorsports for 2010 to 22-ish, it's a long time. Start to like cars become work, and I was over and none of my mates had cars, and then we go out and run a bit of a muck in Mexico
Allegedly.
and, on private roads, and then I sort of found that like little bit of
That
spark
again. Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
100%.
I was like, oh fuck, this is cool. Like, and we made the Car Dudes Instagram chat, and I was like, oh
Just
yeah,
added heaps of guys.
now I got some dudes to fucking go out and run a bit of a muck with, and I think that's what sort of and I was actually looking probably prior to meeting you, if you went through my feed, there was no car posts. It was all just like parties, events, lifestyle. And then now if you look through it in probably this year, like 24, it's heavily car related again. Obviously I do a lot of work with Adrian. Been saying that we don't really go cruising together. He's in Melbourne. I'm here.
Busy man
we
too.
split up. When I go to Melbourne, I usually just use passenger princess. So,
Yeah.
we don't really go out and run amok, go
Yeah.
cruising together. So, yeah, I think it's it was good that we linked up to
That would have been back when you were kind of fresh up here as well. Surely it was like what, you moved 2020, it would have been like what, 21, 22 maybe?
yeah,
Probably roughly around there I'd say too. So
yeah.
but yeah, no, it was sick. It was a bit of a random link up, but I reckon it was definitely beneficial for both of us too. Especially I'd say I've obviously learned heaps, and even having you in my corner has been mad in certain situations too, which is sick. So
Yeah, bro, you're moving fucking fast, especially since I met you working 9 to 5 at the car dealership.
yeah.
And what were you driving then? Because it was before the Maloo and the C63.
Yeah, I had that white LSA Club Sport. Yeah,
That's
was
it.
Yeah, and you threw one of those. Yeah, you threw the meat with the tray, and you had that black GDS, and we went out. and
Yeah.
I was just
Then
running
we're
amok
just
in
G'ing
Mexico.
each other up, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, this is bad.
A couple intersections, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Allegedly
Allegedly.
though. Allegedly.
But yeah, you've fuck, that was actually not that long ago, and you're fucking moving fast.
It's pretty crazy. But in saying that too, like even speaking about, you even saying before, friendship circles in different directions. Like, have you over your years, you've probably gone through a few circles, or there's a few different friendship groups that have broken down, or even ones that you've now created too. Like, how have you gone about that, and like, how does that? Is that like a key thing for you? Is friendships and relationships like a big thing in your life, or is it like it's kind of like something you just enjoy on the side, or is it like a key motivator for yourself?
No, it's I think it's extremely important in many aspects. When we're young, we grow up in school and we are just sort of programmed to think that our schoolmates
That
are
you're
our
forever
mates
friends,
forever.
yeah.
And, you know, you sort of 18, you leave school, starts to wear off a bit, 19. And by this stage, I started going out to car meets and stuff and, you know, hanging out with people with cars. And 2021, I start finding myself closer to these people that I've met within 12 months than people I went to school for 6 years with.
Yeah.
And, you know, I start looking, I'm like, you know, we were sort of all put in school together and you make friends and that's great. But when you start hanging out with people with similar interests, same morals, and stuff like that, it's a really special sort of friendship because I've got party mates, car mates, this mate, that mate. But when you've got like a mate that you have the same morals with, you see eye to eye, you've got the same fairness with, you know, like you've come in, you've met a lot of like my really close circle yourself now, like, you know, Adrian, Nick, Panna, Oscar and all that. And you see the way we do stuff. It's, you know, we can do dinners together. We can just chill and watch a movie. We can go out in the cars. We can go parties. We can work together. We can run businesses together. And that's because we've got that whole, like the same morals and same see eye to eye on everything.
Yep.
That's, as I've gotten older, I've realized how rare that is and how much I value it because over time I've lost friends to all different sorts of reasons, whether they're moving away, different interests, fucking drugs, not seeing eye to eye with like financial situations. And I've always been, I wouldn't say walked on, but I always give people the benefit of the doubt or try and please them because
Where it'll bite you in the ass. In the
it'll
end
bite
type
me in the
thing.
ass
Yeah.
in the end. But at the same time, I know, for instance, say like money comes and goes. So to me, money's not everything. But to some of my past friendships, money has been their number one motive. So when it comes to not seeing eye to eye or being fair, they're happy to be unfair if it results in them getting the money, whereas I'm happy to be fair if it results in me not getting the money but keeping the friendship.
Yeah.
And as I'm getting older and older, my circle's getting smaller and smaller. I've been walked on more and more times.
Which you'd almost be able to start preempting certain things as well in certain situations too.
Yeah, I've definitely got my wall up a lot more now. I value my inner circle a lot more now. My family, like Anita and Saint, you know, having those like people in your corner, the ride or dies, they don't come past often.
Yep.
So I feel like that's why I've always been, I've learned so much from dropping out from school friends to friends with interest to meeting party friends, car friends, to trying to find those mates. And it's not only having those mates that you can do everything with, it's the mates that make you strive to do better. You need to be, they need to keep you hungry. You know, I can always sit at my group of mates and just listen to what they've done and how they've done it and learn. You know, sometimes
Well, it's like that infamous saying, it's like you're the sum of the 5 people who hang around the most in a sense as well. So it's like, you know, hang around people I would even say as well, hang around, you know, yourself and people that I would consider ahead of where I'm at currently actually just brings me up to your levels in a sense, but not not saying I'm there yet, but just makes me strive to try and get there more.
well, opens your eyes to making
100%.
it possible. If you don't hang around those people, but you see them on TV and Instagram, it's cool, but you're like, I don't understand how they've done it,
Yeah.
and you're almost lose motivation. But
Mm.
when you hang around them, you're watching them making moves on the phone, doing this, doing
The
that.
inside of it,
Yeah,
yeah.
you start going, fuck, I actually see why he's so successful now, and I can do that. And I think, you know, a huge part of that is like, I've been around, I've been in stages where I've had a group of friends where, oh, Troy's killing it, you're the man, and this and that, blah blah, and as charming as it is, and it's very nice of them to speak highly. You also get a sense of comfortability where you're like, yeah, you know what, I am killing it, like this and that. Then you can literally walk into another room, a group of mates,
You're like, oh, you could have done this better.
and well, not only that, you're just like, fuck, I'm doing so shit. I need to step my game up. And
Yeah.
you know, moving to Gold Coast was a big eye opener for me. Since moving to Gold Coast, you know, not only is my close friendship circle like, you know, Pano and Oscar and Nick and all that just open more businesses, increasing their net val, going hard. But you know, since moving to Gold Coast, I obviously met Adrian, and I'm very grateful that we linked up because he's taught me a lot. And you know, there's people go, oh, he's so lucky he was the first person to start giveaways, and I'm like now I know the ins and outs, and me and him know each other like brothers, and I'm like, there's no luck involved. He made trade promotions. He made it a thing. There was no luck. He didn't find the first one. Like
And like even I can agree on that as well, especially seeing the inside, you know, and behind the scenes on certain things too, and how people just are so quick to assume certain situations and kind of put you guys under this tarp or this cover of, you know, had it the easy way, but they don't see the 12-hour days, you know, that or the insides and outs or the hard calls that I've seen you and Adrian have to make, and you know, stuff like that people just it's not like an ignorance, just don't see type thing. So
yeah, it's hard to like even just little shit like, you know, I moved up here and I was like, oh, I want a waterfront property with a boat and stuff, and I got it all. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this is sick. You know, I had the boat out the back of the house. And then I start hanging out with like Brenton Fisher, and I go to his waterfront house and see his boat.
Nuts.
And I'm like, and he's got the S-Class, the fucking, you know, the yacht and all this. And I'm like, and I see him every fucking morning, 4 or 5 a.m. He's fucking at the job. He doesn't have to be at the job site pouring concrete.
Yeah, 100%.
But he is. And he's fucking micromanages everything, and he's hungry as fuck. And, you know, I'm like while I'm selling my boat, I'm like, the old me would be like, oh, how cool would it one day to get a yacht, you know? And then now the new me, after hanging around like, you know, the boys like Andy and Fish and all that, and they got yachts, I'm like, nah, I'm going to get rid of my boat because I'm going to get a yacht. Like, it's not maybe, or like, how cool would it be?
It'll just
like,
happen.
oh, I'm
You'll
going to
make it
do it.
happen.
And that mindset comes from hanging around those people that I've watched do it themselves. And I remember when Fisher brought his, because I came with him to pick it up, and he was like,
It's a sick
I looked at this, and, you know, I'm going to swap my G-Wagon, give him G-Wagon cash on top and do this. And like, he made it all happen, and it was so exciting. And I was like, almost felt like I was living through him, picking
doing
up.
it, yeah.
And I was like, you know, he goes out with his missus, has a barbecue, fucking just chills on a Sunday, lays on the boat, and I'm like, nah, fuck this. I'm getting a yacht. Like, I don't know when, but
Or how, or what's going to happen.
Yeah,
but
I'll get one.
It'll happen.
So that's I think having that sort of close friendship that motivates you and inspires you is extremely important to keep you out of your comfortable zone, put you in the right direction. I've also been the other way. I've hung around good people that do bad things. And when I say that, like, you know, they might have done illegal things, or they might have had dramas with people and stuff like that. But they're good to me, and they're nice to me, and they are a good friend. But it's always bit me in the ass where somehow I've been
Pulled into it.
called into the cop shop over it, or someone's had drama with me because of them, and it's the other way around. So like, you know, when you're with good people doing good things, you sort of get brought up, and it's completely the other way around. When you're with bad people doing bad things, you'll get dragged in even if you're not doing
No matter
it.
how good you think you are, and 100%. I definitely agree with that.
So I think, the whole friendship circle thing is, I think personally, is like extremely important, and there's nothing wrong with, you know, you get the person who goes, "Oh, you've changed."
Yeah.
Well, they're probably someone that should be in the past because, you know, I love when people change because you need to change. If you're the same person as 18 at 40, you probably haven't got very far.
Yeah, 100%.
I've changed heaps.
Yeah, and even like from outside perspective, like it's especially with Saint, I'd say too, like especially having your son, like that was a huge change. I can even visibly see.
Yeah.
you know. But even in saying you touched on the topic just before about mindset and friendship groups and stuff too. Where do you think you got your mindset or your, I don't know, your strive, your passion, your drive? Where did that all kind of come from? Like, is that something that was taught from home? Is that something you learned from someone else? Like,
Don't know.
is that kind of just it's always been in you, or is it only once you started noticing a few things, maybe like around 18 or something? Or
Nah, it's weird because I might be wrong, but I personally believe you can't teach passion or strive. You can reinforce it and stuff. Like I did go through a stage in my early 20s where I'd watch a lot of motivational YouTube and stuff, and you know, a lot of motivational speakers, and then, you know, sometimes I felt almost like a little bit lost. And, you know, a huge one for me is like used to listen to a lot of Alan Watts and stuff like that. It's not necessarily motivational speak, but he was very smart at articulating, like, you know, if something bad would happen, it would really get me down. And I think, you know, I had to learn that it's all part of the journey. You look back and that bad thing was actually what steered you in the direction, was all the reason. And the mindset and strive, I feel like for me was, I've always wanted more. I never dreamed of what I'd have now, but also now what I've got, I'm dreaming of a lot more.
Yep.
I feel like every time you hit a goal and do something, you got to keep moving the goalpost. And I know there's a lot of people that don't agree, and they say, you know, when's enough? Like, let's kick back.
Which also, yeah, I don't like. I agree in the same sense where it's like you can't hit it and then sit and get comfortable over things.
Well-
It's like I understand the thing of having gratitude and being thankful for what you've got, but you've always got to keep striving forward as.
But that's what's in you, and that's what's different, and you can't teach that because there is people that do get comfortable and they're like, you know, I'm happy, I've got my good job, I got a nice house, I got my family, and you know what? That's great. Sometimes I have my days where I'm jealous of that because I could switch off now and spend a lot more time with my family and friends. And I sold the drift car because, you know, I use it twice a year.
Yeah.
I sold my boat because I use it I haven't even used it this year. Because all these the bike, I've probably used it once.
Yeah,
I don't
think
I
I've
used
seen
it
that
once.
move. I've seen that leave the shed. Yeah.
So like as a kid, I wanted the boat, the bike, the drift car, this and that, and now I'm here. And the reason is another huge component with, I feel like, being motivated and hungry is, you know, I'm blessed that everything I'm doing, I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about Flipside, LMCT, G Up, even ECM for a long time. I was very passionate about. So I get a lot of fun out of it. Like, look, Saturday we got to throw like a massive party,
And that's work.
which, yeah, it was like literally a party in a mansion, you know, with yachts and fucking, you know, cool dudes there and like pretty women and, you know, like mad fun that anyone would love to go to. Yeah, for us, that was a huge successful launch
Milestone.
and milestone. And we grabbed all the media we've got now to launch the product. And yeah, there was a lot of work leading up to it, like times, location, places, workers, staff, you know. But the whole thing was just, it's fun. And that's just one little bit of my job. And don't get me wrong, there's some days where I'm having my days where I'm like, fuck, this is fucked. But the passion and the motivation is so easy. And this is what I always say to people, don't chase the money, just find something you love doing. Because when you're chasing the money and shit gets hard, you throw in the towel because you haven't got the money, you're fucking hating what you're doing.
There's no second push of like passion.
It's so easy just to go, fuck this.
Yeah, 100%.
But I've done like eye candy for ages, you know, from probably, you know, the first 5 years. I didn't make any money because every dollar I earned, I was buying more hoists, more tools, bigger factory, painting the
back into it.
floors, doing this. But even though I had no money, I wasn't sitting there going, this is fucked. I'm like, this is sick. Like, cruising around, seeing all these cars with eye candy down the doors, going out, people with eye candy on their jumpers, people coming up going, fuck, I love your shop, or you're at my cousin's car. And, you know, that was huge passion for me, even though I didn't have money. So, yeah, back to the strive and the passion, the motivation. I don't know if it's something that you can teach. You can reinforce it, but
You either
I
got
think
it or
it's.
you don't.
I think if you're doing something you love doing,
Yep.
it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, 100%. No, I definitely agree on that. And I wanna go back even further down the time capsule. 1989. You're born. Whereabouts were you born? What suburb? Down in Victoria.
I think it was Mornington, Frankston.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick. Okay. What was home life like? Like, what was it like growing up in your suburb? Was it good suburb, bad suburb? Kind of explain the situation. Parents together, divorced. What's the
So,
whole situation there that a lot of people might not know?
So Langwarren.
Yep.
I'll obviously always have a soft spot for Langy because I grew up there. I spent 26 years there.
Yep.
So in the one suburb. So I knew it very well.
Same house. Grew
So
up in and everything.
same house till probably 14.
Yep.
Then I remember one day Mum picked us up from school and she's like, I need to talk to you. I was like, oh, what's up? She's like, oh, me and your dad are going to be separating. I was like,
Okay.
oh, why? And she's like, oh, you know, we just don't love each other and blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay. And for me, I'd never, ever, ever, ever seen him once go out for dinner, hold hands, kiss, hug. But that was just normal to me.
Yep.
Like, because I'd grown up watching that. I hadn't seen any affection. But now I'm old and I look back, I'm like, oh, no shit, they should have broken up. Like,
Yep. Like it makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, Dad was a very, very boy's boy. So he was, he had all the, like, he used to race Southern 80, he had all the speedboats, bikes, cars, like heaps of toys. And he'd always be out every weekend. Like, he'd have like going like riding out.
Yep.
They'd have like boat, whatever. And Mum was very just sort of doing her own thing. So looking back, like I was upset at the time, but I look back, I'm like, oh, I'm glad Mum.
Was it pretty unexpected for yourself? Like,
Yeah, because
had
I
no-
thought I'd never seen them fight once.
Yeah, right.
But it wasn't that they fought. It was just they were just like two best friends living together.
Yep.
So that was a bit weird. But at the same time, I was so, I guess, just a kid. So Mum was moving into an apartment in, well, they're both moving into apartments. I was selling the family house. And it was a nice house. Like we weren't rich, we weren't poor, but my parents made sure we had everything we needed. So, you know, we had the swimming pool, the trampoline, push bikes. Dad got me a dirt bike when I was young, doing good in school.
Yep.
So I was very grateful. Like, I feel like looking back, everything they earned, they sort of gave it to us. And didn't spoil us. There was always milestones. Had to do good in school. Had to do this. Had to do that. Mum and Dad split. I was young. They moved into apartments. But because I was so young, where we lived in Langwarren was a little bit like rural. So to ride in to see all my mates probably took me a good hour on push bike.
Yeah, right.
So I was so young that when they said they're both getting apartments like right in Langy, I was sort of more excited because like, fuck yeah, I can see my
You're
mates. I can
closer.
do
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
do
yeah.
that. So they split up. I was very lucky. They made sure, like, you know, I did 6 years in the same primary school, and then the primary school was joined onto the high school, so I did the other 6 years. So I was very lucky that I didn't have to move around, make new friends, do all that. I got to continue the same friendship group through schools. I didn't enjoy school apart from the social aspect of it.
Yeah.
But I did struggle a bit. Probably looking back and probably even now, I probably got ADD. Like, I really struggled to focus on something, and I'm hyper. Like, I just want to go
Yeah.
all the time. So maybe that's why I struggled in school a bit. Like, I can read a book, I can read a whole page and get to the bottom, and I have to start again because I don't know. I was thinking about other shit. 'Cause
Yeah,
I was,
just had other
it
stuff
was
going
too
on in your
slow
mind.
for me. Like,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So yeah, I struggled a bit in school, but still did all right grades and all that.
Were you like the class clown, popular kid? Like,
Yeah, I think I've always wanted attention.
Yeah, Class clown. For sure.
Yeah. So I genuinely like making people feel good. So if they laugh or they're I think that's a whole side of me that got me into content creation. Um, there's some people might beg to differ, but I've never been one to use my platform to flex because I don't know. I don't see it as doing any benefit to anyone. Yeah, I post some stuff, some cool stuff, maybe to motivate some people. But I mean, you know, firsthand, like we eat out at plenty of fancy restaurants and do
There's some
$1,000
crazy
dinners and
stuff. Yeah.
there's heaps of days I'm out on $1 million yachts that you won't even see a story because I just think like,
Well, even me and you spoke about that, and you obviously giving me advice on that whole scenario of the flex and stuff like that, and flexing and how it doesn't serve benefit. And you obviously explained that to me too. So it's like, obviously, a lot of people would beg to differ, but it's like because they're not seeing the full circle of what you actually could be
yeah,
showing, I guess you could say as well.
yeah. And I feel like same thing when I talk about like morals in the friendship group. The boys are very the same. They could flex a lot harder if they wanted.
100%.
I know Oscar's one that gets mistaken for flexing when he shows all the incomes coming in, but he's also educating people on the money that can be made in commercial development. So I think that's just actually just being factual with
100%.
people. So
Or
I
just
mean,
transparent, if anything.
yeah, it's actually real. But yeah, I think I've always enjoyed making people laugh, making people feel good, inspired, motivated. Also, quick shout out to our sponsors, Livco. They do some crazy hats, all different colours, different styles, different fits. I've got my own discount code, Candy. Use it, save yourself some money, grab a new hat. We've got a link in the description. Check them out, Livco, and even some different materials too. These are quite nice. I really like this one. But yes, anyway, check them out. Livco caps, get on it. So I guess maybe that's where the class clown from. I liked making people laugh. Probably didn't benefit me with education, but also looking back now, I'm not sure how much education you need
Helped.
in this day and age.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like 30 years ago when you got to sort of do that, go to school, go to uni, start at the bottom, then work your way out, get promoted, then become CEO, whatever. Now it's like
That whole structure is completely out the window.
it's gone. We've got everything at our fingers. We got AI that can build your whole website and write it, graphic design, everything for you. Got YouTube where you can learn whatever you want. Everything's free. All the education's free. You can literally start anything. So, yeah, I guess going back, being a bit of a class clown, and then I guess I've always somewhat enjoyed being in the spotlight in a sense. Growing up and posting all on social medias it is a double-edged sword where I've had obviously gained a follower from it. People love it and it does it, but then I've also had, especially Melbourne, just huge retaliation from like police for burnouts, and I did a burnout in my Skyline at Eye Candy in the shop.
In your own complex as well. I think I remember seeing this.
Yeah. And it went viral, and then I fully got arrested. They tried to seize the car. I went to court, and I actually got my first actual full-blown conviction for endangering lives, which is it's stopped me from flying. I lost my flights to America.
Wow.
Had to go get a visa, had to go through the embassy, get a visa. Comes up in any court case. If I was trying to get a job somewhere, it would have fucked. Like it's a really bad thing to have against my name.
Because I think I watched your podcast with Blake too, and you kind of touched on it then. It was one of those things of like you were too young to really read through it or get a lawyer, and you kind of just accepted it.
Yeah, I just went in. I'm like, how bad can it be? It was a burnout in my own shop. Like, surely the judge is going to be like, oh, who cares?
Yeah.
So I learned a lot that way. So I've had, but also anyone else that did a skit in their shop, they would have got away with it. But I had a big following. I had kids looking up to me, and that's what's I've had to deal with my whole life. Firsthand how much I like pull you or any of the boys up and be like, hey, cut me out of that video, do this, do that, because I've dealt with the consequences. There's also a certain aspect there. I know now the responsibility of having kids look up to me, where I want to do a lot of things, but they don't understand the context or how I'm doing it or how much experience I've got. So
Or how they might try and replicate it, but without the same
Yeah.
structure or, you know.
yeah, like if you're
Same
if you're
scenario.
with me and you know, I've done like 18.7 billion burnouts in my life, so I've got a lot of hours under the belt. But put that aside, you know, you'll never see me like pull into a fucking around car like traffic and you know it'd be like 1 a.m. in an industrial center, like you know, or even times I always tell people just get out and record. So
In Mexico.
there's no one in my car, but these kids that just see it, they don't see, oh, he's in the industrial court, no one's around, he's taking people out of his car so if he crashes, no one else he's only
Yep.
going to harm himself. Like they don't see all that. There's like, fuck yeah,
In and out
Troy's
of
doing
traffic.
skids, that's
Yeah,
mad.
100%.
I'm going to go do it. So there's a good side where you can give people free entertainment, make them laugh, you know, enjoy it. And there's also a bad side where you've got this like huge responsibility on your hands. And I constantly have to think how I can create content that is entertaining, but
Doesn't
not,
cross that line.
yeah, yeah.
Is content creation something you've always, you know, been fond of or something you've always wanted to do? Or is it kind of just gone hand in hand with obviously eye candy and growing your businesses? Or was it something from a while, from a young age, that you were like always, once obviously Instagram and Facebook came about, because I've always been around with Facebook and Instagram. It's always been a thing, whereas you obviously probably grown up with and without it.
Well, I had fuck, I sound so old. I had MySpace, so I had MySpace, had my top 8 friends, all that.
Sick.
and then Facebook, and then when I started Eye Candy, I didn't have enough money for a website and stuff, so I created a Facebook page called, like, the first name was Eye Candy and last name Motorsports, and everyone was giving me shit because they're like, why are you putting
page?
your
Yeah.
business on fucking Facebook? I'm like, oh, because what I did is I made photo albums. So I had a photo album called White Walls, one called Guard Rolling, one called Vinyl Wrapping, and then when I used to give out my business card,
You would say check out this page.
just if you want to see,
Yep.
so they just go to albums.
And they've got like a collage and gallery of your
Yeah.
work. Yeah, sick.
So I started that, and then I was posting everything on Facebook, on my personal Facebook, and then I remember this one time we went to Eastern Nats in like 2013 or 2012, and this one I just brought my GDO.
Ex-hustler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How old were you?
must have been like
21?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I flew up to Gold Coast, got it 27 grand.
Oh, you bought it from the Gold Coast?
Yeah,
Oh, sick.
yeah.
Tough.
Red leather manual. Got a loan for it,
What a toughie.
and then drove it back. And the first week, found a 411 lock diff on Gumtree, put that in it, and cut the springs, and then put 20-inch elbows on it, and then took it to Performance might have been East Nuts Performance Comania. Anyway,
Streets weren't ready for it.
no. And my mate took a photo of it, and I was like, fuck. He's like, look at this. I'm like, fuck, that looks sick. I'm like, how do you get it to look like that? He's like, oh, this Instagram app's got all filters on it. So Instagram wasn't really to make a profile, it was to edit your photos.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah, I remember that was actually a huge thing that they had filters and changing like the.
Yeah.
I actually remember that now once Instagram was
it was like Mayfair,
Yeah.
Valencia,
Yeah.
fucking all that. So anyway,
like Rio and shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I started taking photos. I made an Instagram account, started taking photos, and then when you upload it would save to your phone so that you could re-upload on Facebook, because all I cared about was Facebook. And then Instagram sort of started like taking off a little bit, like when they made the Explore page, and I started getting ideas, looking at stuff. And then I reckon it was probably about 2013, 2014. I was genuinely just posting on there for fun and because I had like a bit of a following and, you know, everyone was loving it. Probably wasn't until like 2014 or 15, which I guess is still a big jump start on people who are now just realizing how important content creation is. But it was probably about
Huge jump start, I'd say.
2014, 2015, I was like, this is driving a fuckload of business. Like, this is actually really important to be actively filming content. So I started a YouTube on Eye Candy, and I started doing build videos. No one was doing them that I'd known in Australia, where I'd get the car standard
From start to
and
finish,
I'd
whole
talk
thing.
about what
Yeah,
we're
right.
doing. So Oh, it's so cringe. It's still up. I think it's on iCandy Motorsports YouTube, and I did that. It's wild.
That blue thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The VZ.
And I'm just standing there, and I look like such a rat bag, and I'm like, I'm so nervous. Like it probably took me 100 takes just to film an intro. I'm like, hey guys, this is Troy here, and we've got this car. We're gonna do it up, and like,
Was that so that was something you actually struggled with at the start? Was
so all my
like
content.
you've never been.
I wasn't on camera.
Yeah,
All
right.
my content was of skids, anything.
Yeah,
but
you
not,
filming.
not talking.
Yeah.
I was very like unconfident. I wasn't happy with my appearance. I had really bad teeth. I just wasn't confident at all. But I knew that it was, to me especially, it was very important. So I started really focusing on content creation quite early.
So your business was kind of popping before yourself was.
Yeah,
Is that right?
so everyone knew I Candy, but no one
yeah.
knew Troy Candy.
Right.
So I'd go out and people were like, "Are you the car dude?"
Yep.
And I'm like, "Oh yeah." And then what happened was, I was running into a lot of drama through socials, through like police, through. It got to the point where I'd post a photo of my car aired out on the ground, and they'd send me a letter to my house and saying, "We saw your car. Your car was spotted," because they could see what street it was on.
Or like a sign in the background, or locate
Yeah,
that
and
way,
say,
yeah.
your car was spotted under 100 mil and it needs to come into the police shop for a roadworthy inspection and shit like that. And I'm like, I don't know. Because everyone was saying, "Oh, you're the eye candy guy, you're the eye candy guy." I'm like, fuck, I'm just going to change my name to Troy Candy just so when you search Troy Williams, it doesn't come up. But then the Troy Candy thing like really stuck. Like,
Yeah.
people started thinking my last name was Candy.
Candy, yeah. I
And,
also was one to think that one. Before I kind of knew you, I actually thought that was your last name.
Well, it ended up growing quite quickly, the whole Troy Candy thing. And then, so I started partying a lot just for fun, but filming it. And
Yep.
like, we were getting a bit rowdy, putting like the dirt bikes and jet skis in the pool. And the Australia days were always like wild. And I remember like my socials would just blow up. And I was like, what the fuck? Look how
Mopeds in
many
the
people-
pool in Bali.
Yeah, like all
so
that.
nice, yeah.
And then, so it sort of fit in hand when I did the snorkel, where I made that for fun. Like it was just like, it wasn't for money. I was just like, oh, whatever, we'll just make it. We'll just get videos of us smashing cruisers, because there was obviously no Jets back then.
Sadly.
Yeah. So I paved the way for you young lads. So it's all
Yeah.
good. I got teased about that. That was facts. Like when I was probably.
That's a ladies' drink,
I'm gonna say 18 because I wasn't allowed to drink at 15.
allegedly.
You'd literally go put cruises up on the counter, and the bloke would be like, they'd always make a joke. "Oh, you getting your missus drinks or this and that?" And then sometimes I'd actually lie, where I'd be like, look on, and I'd ask me mate, like, "Oh, what did she want again?" Like, knowing it was me,
Yeah.
and like just
played
and
it
like
off.
and like everyone was like, "Fuck."
Bit of
can't believe
embarrassment
you
attached
drink
to it.
Yeah, it was
right.
it was actually pretty bad, but couldn't drink beer. Beer make me feel sick, and I just don't like the taste of it. Bourbon was alright, but
Yeah, now you don't even get sick. Like I don't even get questioned at all every time I've.
bro,
ever-
it's so
like,
normal.
It's so normal now. Yeah.
It's so normal. So then the snorkels fell into place, and I was just drinking cruises back then, so that popped off, and then I didn't even realize it, but I don't know why I just put Troy Candy on the snorkel, and then obviously my audience. I remember this because I was so surprised, but I only had 30,000 followers when I released the snorkel in like 2019, and
Were you only kind of running Facebook, Instagram, or was there like?
yeah,
Was that the main two that you were just kind of running on?
yeah.
Yeah, sick.
And I did the snorkel and then put a story up, and everyone was like, "That's fucking sick," like
Yeah,
this and that.
Just
blah,
got around
blah.
it. Yeah.
I was like, I didn't want to put that on because I had the ECM label, the Eye Candy clothing, and I had a Shopify, but I didn't want to put it on that because it's so unprofessional. Like Eye Candy is cars, and then you got like this drinking snorkel.
Yep.
So
Cars and drinking are a hard one.
yeah. So I'm like, I'll just make troycandy.com and just put snorkels on there. And fuck, man, it went nuts. And then also my following went nuts because obviously what happened is people were going to parties and bringing it out and going, what's that? And they're like, oh, that Troy Candy guy made
tagging
it.
you in videos.
And then tagging me. And then, bro, my followers
just
probably...
like exponential growth.
Yeah. So I had like one... So when I went on a current affair for being Australia's biggest bogan, that was my first like big jump where I was like, it went fucking massive. And then the snorkels was like another thing.
Another big boost.
And then I started going out and I'd always have people go, oh, you're the car guy. And then it comes like, you did the snorkel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, for the last like 8 years, I've been building this car brand. And then in 2 months, it fully goes out the door and it's like the snorkel guy. So yeah, the snorkels like kicked off and that was crazy because, you know, my whole life I'd been, you know, at early days, I can't even try and take home $500-600 a week and then, you know, $1,000 a week and then $2,000 a week. And then, you know, in between you flip a car and you get that like maybe extra $5,000 for the month.
Yeah, that's a good boost.
And I was mad. And then I'd gone to like, I remember Australia Day in 2020, I did 35K in a day. So I was
wild.
like, and the markup was crazy. They were costing me $4 and I was selling them for 40.
Yep.
So
that's nuts.
I couldn't like fathom it. But it was so early to come across, well, to me, it was early to come across that much money that I still had a very poor man's mentality. So I wasn't stupid with it at all because
you were quite frugal.
It was almost too good to be true. And I didn't think that I was going to come across
or it would last.
that cash again.
Yeah, gotcha.
Whether it was anything else, another business, anything, I was like, this is nuts. I think I did, in 9 months, I did like 1.2 million, which I worked out was like more money than I earned my whole life in 9 months, right?
That's crazy.
And it was all new to me. So I did no ads, no emails, didn't have a list, didn't do nothing.
All organic.
This was off swipe ups.
Yeah,
and
that's
organic. Sick. And I'd talked to people years later that actually built pages and did ads and they did like 5 million plus. So
what, on the same product?
Yeah.
Well, like they just stolen, well, not stolen, but just stolen.
Put their
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was a lot of, now thinking about it, there was a lot of knockoff versions and...
Yeah, but I didn't understand. I thought like, I just didn't understand meta, ads, nothing. And it's funny because not only did I let it slip then, Adrian and I were going at about the same time. We were going head to head with giveaways and same thing. I was only doing giveaways to my audience. So, but I was comfortable because like I remember one time I did this Malou and CLA and I did a swipe up and we did 800 grand in 24 hours off a swipe up.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, is this the oh, what color was this one? Was this
matte red?
Red, yeah, that's it. Yeah, bro, that's nuts. That's
so
nuts.
I remember because I was sort of annoyed because what I did is
that's unheard of.
I had the Malou as first prize and the CLA as second prize. But what we did is to create the hype, we dropped the Malou and then I was going to say the next day that part 2 was the CLA as second prize. But the Malou sold out overnight and I'd already lodged the permits that the CLA comes second prize.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, we should save the CLA for another one, but already sold out. And anyway, but also comfortable because of that. And then you got Adrian that had no personal brand, no following, nothing. So he had to do the other way. He had to learn Facebook ads. And what happened is I started up here and Adrian started down here. I smashed my same audience over and over again. And it's gone like this. He's growing new audience. And then you can see what's happening. I smashing mine and and then before you know it, he's grown his complete new audience. He's got, you know, I got 18 to 25-year-old males. He's got mums, dads, kids,
a whole array
everyone
of people,
because he's hit Australia. So
I'd say even in like my eyes, he kind of popped up out of nowhere, like just appeared in the scene, like it was.
What his personal brand did. I knew LMCT before I knew Adrian Portelli.
Now, see, mine was the other way around. Well, obviously because he would have been a competitor at the time, so he would have known that. But for me, it was more just like this Adrian guy's popped up out of nowhere, and he owns LMCT.
Well, I remember when we linked up and we went out and did something, and I tagged him, and he had like 15,000 followers.
Yeah.
And then his followers was like popping off and he went straight to like, I can't remember, like 30,000.
Yeah.
And then it just went like, bang, he went on the block, the car in the penthouse.
Just boomed. Yeah.
The fucking, he's just all over the Herald Sun, this, that. So
advertising genius.
What I realized is that I dropped the ball with, and don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for everything and I'm happy where I am. But looking back, I dropped the ball with being comfortable where I was, and not comfortable, but I could have taken the time to learn so much more. So
Could
instead
have
of,
expanded things a bit further.
I was partying a lot, and I was always going on holidays, and if I had to learn about ads and incorporated that into, say, troycandy.com, the snorkels, the giveaways, this, that, it was like, yeah, it would have been nuts. I remember the first time we ran ads in 19 or 20 on a giveaway. I'd done like Holden's my whole time. And then I was like, oh, how cool would it be to do like a Ford Raptor? So I did like the new Raptor, Nardo Grey and all that with a jet ski on the back. And it just wasn't my audience, so it flopped.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, can we try ads? And I remember I spent 10 grand and brought in 200 grand in sales. So I was running
Which is
it at 20x.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I just remember thinking like, and this was 3 years into doing giveaways.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, imagine if I'd been running
All this
ads the whole time.
Yeah.
But by the time I'm doing Raptors, Adrian bought that $1 million W1 Blue. And I was just like,
The orange one. Yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck
Bro.
did he just spend $1 million on a car to
That
give
went
away?
viral. That went really viral.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the video of him like on the phone at the park or something
Yeah.
to the auction place, and they're like, yeah, you've won it. And he's like losing it. It was
Yeah.
nuts.
So, and he did that night where he unveiled it and stuff. So, yeah, it's a crazy journey and of like learning a lot. I know where I've sort of dropped the ball and fumbled a bit, but I always say sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. I never see anything as a loss. It's just how can I do it better? And I definitely understand the importance of not being comfortable and just knowing you can just learn so much more. You can, absorb so much more information and become better and more self-aware. And I'm still on that journey now, and I'll still be on that journey forever. I just keep
100%.
learning.
Yeah. On the topic of snorkels, would you say that was your kind of first Kickstarter? Was that your first real big break? If anything, is probably the only way I can really word it. Would you say snorkels was your first big break or big thing to?
That was my sense of financial freedom for the
Right.
first time. Like, I'd done really good on flipping cars, so
Was eye candy still pumping in the background, or was it kind of coming in waves?
eye candy was like, it paid the bills. So I financed a Ferrari. It would make the repayments on that. I got a loan for an apartment. It'd pay the bills. The cream where I go on a holiday or do some cool shit was flipping cars. So I did this like 10 times. I'd always get like a VE clubby for about 18 grand, slap some
So cheap.
secondhand wheels on and chuck some coilovers in,
Yeah.
white wall it, do all at work, like get the boys. So I'd have these cars there, so if a customer didn't pull up, they could just start working on that and it wasn't burning time or costing me money. And then I'd list them for about 28 and try and make like 10 Gs, and I'd try and do like, one a month at least. So that was an extra like 10 grand a month coming in. And that was really cool. Like every time I sold one, I was like, fuck yeah, that helped heaps. But then when the snorkels came in, that was like a whole different world of money.
Yeah.
I mean,
And how old are you when snorkels dropped? So what, you've started eye candy at 20, 21,
yeah,
20?
yeah.
Yeah. And then that's all the way through until you're working until what, 27 are we talking?
Yeah, must have been. I mean, I was still running eye candy right up to 2020. It was until I moved up here.
Yeah.
I had to step away. But I, probably snorkels, and then the giveaways. I started getting like a small commission because it was through charity. It was heavily regulated, so there's minimum donation amount that you have to meet, which was actually quite high. So
How much was, if we're allowed to dive into that?
So in the end, I was probably it all varied because when you do it through a charity, the tickets are capped, so you can only raise 5 times the amount of vehicle. So for the $100,000 vehicle,
500,000.
yeah. So you've already lost 20% to the prize because that's taken out.
Yeah, because it's a cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then if you run Facebook ads, you might spend another 100. There's that gone. Then you got there's just so much like regulations with permits and stuff. And the long story short, the way I run it, because I was all new to it and I got approached and I was like, yeah, whatever. The money went straight to the charity, and then if there was anything left, you know, they'd try and look after me. But
Yep.
the first few, I just didn't care because I was like having fun.
Good publicity.
Good publicity,
Good cause.
Good modifications on the car, good advertising. And then I got to the point where, you know, I'm giving away my weekends, doing the spinning the barrel, doing the live streams, all the filming, the modifying, meeting the winner, flying around. I'm like, fuck, this is like
Actually costing you.
this
now.
is this is bad. So they tried to look after me a bit and give me a bit of a like a kickback, but they couldn't really, because it's so heavily regulated and the donation amount so much that if you didn't sell out, there was
nothing really left. Yeah.
So it was great for the business because it was like a customer coming in saying, I want wrap, wheels, airbags, interior.
Yep.
We'll pay full price,
Yep.
whatever. So that was good on that half. But
Yep.
the eye candy was still kicking. The snorkels was making money. We're doing some giveaway stuff, had some money coming in. And then
Were they your main two at the time, the snorkel and eye candy, and also all three of them?
Yeah.
Was that your main three businesses
Yeah.
that you were focusing on at the time? There was nothing really
the
else?
ECM label was doing good. That was averaging about
clothing.
50K a month.
Yeah, sick.
At about 25% profit because Anita was running it and she was pick and packing and
Doing it all
wrapping and
herself.
doing it all. So
That's sick.
me and her would stay. So I'd work 8 till 6 through the week, and then Anita would finish her job at a laser skin clinic, meet me at work at 6. Then we work till 10 pick and packing, and then we just do that again. So
And this is what I mean. This is even like this is back to the thing of people saying, oh, yeah, you got lucky, but they're not seeing this
Yeah.
rotating shift that you and your partner had on the come up type thing.
Oh
So-
no, she's been awesome, and I know there's some people think that, you know, she just lives the dream life, and you know she's like kicked back with Saint and a nice house and that. But I wouldn't be where I am without her. A, because she just pulled my head in. I was pretty bad with like I'd always be out and about. But B, she always like
As in like partying and
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. Not like fucking getting absolutely blind or doing drugs and stuff. Just I'd constantly be out. Like if someone said, let's go buy a VT and smash it. Yeah. Let's go out for dinner tonight. Yeah. I couldn't say no to anything. Whereas like when I met Needham, I really enjoyed like hanging out with her. So she not held me back, but pulled my head in a bit. And she was also very like my rock. Like she'd always be there, help me get on top of shit, catch up on shit. So I had those four coming in, ECM label, troycandy.com with the snorkels, eye candy, and the giveaways.
Yep.
And then COVID happened, and that was shit just went fucking wild. So
Yeah.
on the plus side,
Well, everyone's getting these payments, these checks coming in out of
Yeah.
nowhere, just bulk money going everywhere. Like literally everyone was
bro, it
getting
was
them.
nuts. Troycandy.com and ECMlabel.com were doing about 100 grand a month.
That's fucking wild.
And eye candy obviously went fucked
Yeah,
because
can't
I
have
had to
anyone
close
come
the
in.
shop.
Yep.
But the e-com side was up. The giveaways was just so easy.
It was
like,
terrible down in Victoria, wasn't it?
It was fucking bad.
Yeah.
So the giveaways went super great too. Like I'd literally just go sneak out, film, put a swipe up, and they'd sell out because everyone's at home getting paid out, like whatever. So, but then probably first time my actual mental health went a bit fucking not great. I was like, I actually ended up, I drink like 2 bottles of red a night. I'd just stream on Twitch for like 6 hours.
Was this when you're doing the Call of Duty shit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
playing
remember
Call of
this.
Duty.
Yeah.
Um,
I never actually checked in, watched any of them, but I just remember you doing that.
yeah, I had the money coming in, but I was so fucking like over the lockdown. Like I was going
Yeah.
mental. Like, and then I was watching all my friends in Queensland out jet skiing and doing everything. And like, we're not allowed to leave our house. We can't fucking, and I was like, this is fucked. And I just snapped one day. I'm like, fuck this. I logged into Combank, changed my address to Anita's dad's house, sent in a letter, got an approval. I said, fuck babe, I'm booking a truck. Car carrier came, picked up like, it's pretty cool. Picked up, I had the Smoker Maloo,
Ex-hustler.
ex-hustler, the GDSR, the GDSR Maloo.
The grey one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Versace Range Rover.
Like, you had a pretty hectic car collection back
Yeah,
then.
was the snorkels. I went out and bought the GDSR Maloo and the sedan and paid cash for them from the snorkels.
It's wild.
And then everyone called me an idiot. And they were like 120 grand, brand new driveway.
You'd buy that every day of the week again now. You'd buy as many of them as possible.
And then, and even the jet ski, you had the jet ski on the back of the car carrier on that.
Yep.
And just literally packed up, left my lease. Luckily, there was a rental crisis because of COVID. So I rang my dude and he's like, it's fine. To be honest, we'll be glad to see you go because we'll get way more for it now. So that was sweet. Left that. And then moved to Gold Coast. Then this is where it got like really tough. Couldn't find a house to rent. Ended up buying a house, which was good. But
When you first moved up here, didn't you get it wasn't in a hotel or something? You got arrested with
yeah, so I did the quarantine.
Yeah.
And then, after 12 days.
Not bringing out all your
they
bad
come get
side or
ya.
anything, but
Yeah, they were like, well, the police worked in the hotels. So
oh really?
it was fucking crazy. The process was nuts, but we flew in, landed in Brisbane, all the military at the airport. You get marched in single file, like head counted, just in case someone splits. You get marched into a bus, like full like convicts.
Yeah.
And then you go on the bus and then
Welcome
they
to
drop you off
Australia.
at all these different hotels.
Yeah, right.
And then you get marched in the hotel. Here's your room. And it's like a little box and you're in there for 2 weeks. And anyway, the police were working there. So on the last day, they're like, knock, knock, knock. Police. I'm like, yeah, sweet. Fuck yeah, we're out. I'm like, got my suitcase. I'm like, let's go. And they're like, you're under arrest. I'm
This is
like,
on your last day, you were saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck.
Bro.
I'm like, nah. And they're like, yeah, you're under arrest. I'm like,
Good joke,
I
boys.
saw one of my mates up in Queensland had like organised it.
Yeah.
They went laughing. They put me in a divvy van, took me to the station. It was all over that fucking skid at the Black Diamond Day.
Saganto.
So
Good old Saganto.
best day ever.
That did seem good.
That was-
I was actually there. That was mad. It was actually a good day.
That was fucking that was fun as. And so that
Wouldn't
was,
do it again, though.
That's what I used to do, bro. You know, they say never shit in your own neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'd just go around Australia, run amok, and then fly out. But I never knew I'd move to Queensland. So
Yeah.
Oh.
Bit you in the arse a bit.
Yeah. And then we moved out. Long story short, moved in with Chris Shower. We had an apartment in Broadbeach. That was a bit of fun, but then got to the point where it felt like a holiday. I'm like, I need to start feeling like home, routine, this, that. We bought a house, and then this is where 21 was probably the toughest year of my life. Had some big falling out with family and friends, which I won't go into, but cost me a lot of money. And like same thing, like I said before, prioritizing. It didn't have to cost me money, but prioritizing friendship over the money, you know, whatever.
Definitely bit you in the arse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, because I packed up and left so quick, there was a lot of responsibility at home. So the e-com side. So I put on a company to run the snorkels, ECM labels. So what they would do is they would get a retainer and then they would manage. So they would do start to finish. So they would source the product, design it, order it, store it, fulfill it, run your online store, do everything for like
All the
a
back end
monthly
handling.
cost.
Yep.
But they also used really sharp prices. Then they put their cut on top on the price, and that's part of their fee for. But long story short, I just fell out of touch with it, and this is another big regret. Is
Well, as in you kind of just stepped away too much because you're up here now. Yeah, right.
and I didn't check in with enough. I could have had like monthly meetings. I could have gone over spreadsheets. I could have done this, but this is probably one of my biggest regrets. Long story short, they put me like $1 million in the hole. They over ordered heaps of stock. They over ordered that much stock. My storage was like 10 grand a week in a factory to store. So
And they were just doing this,
because they got the cut on top of the money.
but as in like, were you giving approvals for this? Or was this a thing of you were just kind of taking their word for things and just
Yeah.
like letting them
Yeah,
handle
they're like,
it?
oh, we need this, we
And
need
they're just
that.
taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then I got a friend to look over everything. They're like, why do you have 80,000 iPhone covers? Why do you have like this? I'm like, what
Need 'em.
the fuck?
Yeah,
And
that's
then, like,
crazy.
So I lost about $1 million there. So yeah, I probably lost
And this is 21, you were saying?
21. I probably lost about $500,000 with my friends. I lost about another $1 million with this company that.
That's wild.
So I actually, it was so expensive because I started trying to do everything $1 just to fucking clear it. And the
Because you shut down after that, didn't you? Like you shut that site down.
the storage
Yeah.
of the stuff was so expensive. Even selling it $1 was going to take too long. So I ended up having to order skips, and even it cost me so much to just fucking throw it out. And it was like millions of dollars worth of stock. So anyway, I probably lost about $1 million there, another 500. And then while this is going on, I've, I guess, promoted everyone at Eye Candy. So I got, someone's working for me. He's now my store manager, this, that.
Again, because you're up here, you can't oversee it all.
Yeah, I
You-
sort of
You got
step
to
back.
replace your roles that you were doing.
Yeah, so I'm dealing with all this other shit. And then they all went and started their own shop together. So they used me to fund their wages while they were opening their own shop.
Real. I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
That's
fucking
crazy.
bro. That was pretty bad.
What,
Especially
down in Melbourne.
yeah, and like I really liked them boys. Like I was really like I knew their families. I looked after them. I remember like at stages when their wives were pregnant, this and that. Like I gave one of them like a car and just said, "Pay me whenever you need it." I raffled off their cars that they couldn't afford finance on or jet skis just to get them out of trouble, and paid them all through COVID, full wage. Even I did. Like I really like when I
Even though
get
shop's
close
shut,
with someone.
yeah.
I fucking like I want to look after them. So when I found out they'd opened their own shop and just used me to fund them the whole time, because my shop was going down, but I didn't realize they were focusing on starting their own shop.
And plus, too, to feel yourself as the owner of the business, obviously there's a lot more care factor there. But to fill the roles that you're probably doing like 5 roles at the same time. Like you're probably doing the content creation, the
Oh, bro,
the
when I was
marketing,
there,
you're probably doing
everything,
the fitting.
bro.
Yeah, that's
I
what I'm
was doing
saying. So
everything.
it probably would have been way more expensive to obviously
Yeah.
get those roles filled.
Well,
And then
that's
on
what we
top of
worked out
them-
when we did the books. And I said to my account, "Why is there no money left now?" And they're like, "Since you've left, you've had to put on a manager, a receptionist,
that's crazy.
a content creator, this, that. Plus, I was doing all the guard rolling, white walling and stuff. The boys didn't know how to do that. So I'd lost that. Plus, I had to do all that. And then, so 2021 for me, this is pretty hectic. I haven't talked about this shit, but
Yeah, I haven't heard about any of this. Yeah.
2021 for me was not only a huge financial hit, it was like a emotional hit too, because I'd just been ripped by all these people that I really looked after, took in,
Really
held them really
valued.
highly.
Yeah, 100%.
So it was crazy timing because Adrian had reached out a couple times and I was really over people at this stage. And Anita said to me, because he goes, "I'll fly up, I'll do breakfast and I'll fly back with you." And I was showing Anita and she's like, "Babe, what's the worst? Like if he's going to fly up and do breakfast with you, like he's making an effort, just go talk to him."
And this is in 21 as well, same
Yeah.
year. Yep.
So I went and had breakfast with him, and it was funny because I used to fucking smash espresso martinis. And
I know he does now.
yeah, we went
He
and had
loves it.
brekkie, and then I'm like, "Oh, can I just get a coffee?" And then he's like, "Yeah, me too." And he's like, "Actually, swap them for espresso martinis." I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
He got me. Love at first sight.
But anyway, we kept talking, and he's like, "Bro, you're doing a good job with the giveaways. What are they paying you?" I said, "Oh, it's pretty hard, bro. They don't really pay me that much. It's good for eye candy because I get to do up my cars and get advertising." And he's like, "Come with me. You can still do up your cars. I'll reimburse you for all the cars, and I'll give you a wage and stuff." I was like, "Yeah." But I've been walked on so much, and then he opened up he's like, "Bro, ask me I'm like a book. There's nothing to hide." I'm like, "Bro, how the fuck are you going to pay for that $1 million Maloo? Like, I don't understand that." He's like, "Oh," he opened up his Stripe account, showed me what he made in a week. And I was like,
Damn.
"Fuck."
Yeah.
This is before anyone really knew Adrian. They knew LMCT,
Yeah.
and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, but still, there was a bad side of me where I've just been walked on by all these people that I've known for so many years, like, even my family and stuff. So I had my back up against the wall a bit. So we did a contract where I was sort of safe in a way, where even if it fell to shit, he'd say, "Look, I'll give you this much," and whatever. Honestly, after the first time we filmed together, I knew that I didn't even care about the contract. I got a really good feeling off him. I could see eye to eye. And to this day, it's been like that. We haven't had one argument, one disagreement. But at the same time, he definitely changed my life. And it was the craziest year because I had the worst year of my life, like really, really fucking tough year. Like at the same time as all those taking those financial blows was just after I used So I did. Remember I did that pink giveaway with the breast
3
cancer.
cars, yeah.
So the Range Rover was Anita's. The GDSR Maloo was mine.
It was a BMW, wasn't it?
Yeah,
other one?
and
Yeah.
the M3 was Oscar's.
Yep.
Anyway, so I brought all those cars up, and I had these 2 Senators, a VEF Senator and a VE Senator in matching colours. Got rid of them. Got rid of the pink GDSR Maloo. Got rid of the pink Range Rover, and got rid of the Smoker Maloo. So I probably cashed back in, like, say, 500K, and that was my life savings of work that I just had in cars. And then when I got the house, I fell short because the bank didn't want to value it. So they're like, oh, you need deposit plus you're falling short. So I'm like, fuck. I threw all my money in. I'm like, sweet. Right, literally 2 weeks after that was like, found out like the boys at ECM had dogged me and gone and started their own thing. Found out the fulfillment company was absolutely rorting me. Found out then all this shit happened with like my family and friends and shit, like whatever. So bro, it was just like blow. And like at the same time, July, we had Saint, and that's when I met Adrian. But I said to Adrian, I've still got a C63 and a Rolls Royce I've got to give away. Like I can't just pack up and leave, you know. So didn't work for Adrian until towards the end of the year. We did the fucking boys giveaway with the PSI Junkie. That was our first one.
That big joint one.
And so at this time I got a newborn. I got fucking no money. The shops aren't even making money because I've closed down troycandy.com, ecmlabel.com. The eye candy is in the shit. I've still got commitments to do these other 2 giveaways. And bro, it was probably, and on top of that, Saint was a really bad sleeper. He was sick. He was in and out of hospital.
Hardest year.
Bro, it was honestly fucked. Like, I don't know. If I didn't have Anita there, and because the lockdowns were on, I couldn't see mum. I couldn't see anyone. And yeah, I really struggled, Like, probably something I haven't said out loud or to anyone, but that was easily probably the worst. It was so crazy because it went from the best year ever, 2020,
Like 2 different
all that
peaks.
shit, like end of 2020, I was just fucking making mad money, crazy, moved to Gold Coast, had so much fun, to all of a sudden it shot down. And it literally went like this, and then it fucking just went like this so quick. And then, don't get me wrong, having Saint was the best thing ever, but it's not the best thing ever at the time. When you're not getting sleep, it's fucking hard. You're in and out of hospital.
And you're stretched across other things too.
You're stretched. So then meeting Adrian, and then 2022, I reckon, I had like the best year ever. Like, started making some good money with Adrian, paid off some debts, shut down the businesses, put funds together to launch G Up with the boys.
Yeah.
So that was a wild ride. Like that was I learned
A lot.
I learned everything about business,
Yeah.
friendship, being walked on by people, keeping your back up, being more self-aware. I always just assume people have your best interest in heart, like, because I'm like that. I just have people's best interest in heart. But as you get through life, you realize it's everyone for themselves. So, yeah, I guess went off on a bit of a tangent there, but
No, it was good. There's a lot of things that I didn't even know about, like, and I feel like I've learned, I know quite a lot of your story, I'd say. So that was interesting, especially about the shop stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's big
it
time.
sucks. So it's all good. I got on top of it. I pulled back. My brother, he's been a rock there. He's worked for me there since 2013. He's a gun rapper. And for the for the amount of small dividends I could take from there, when I say small, it's still good, but from what I got going on, we actually just did it this year. I just gave it to him.
Yeah, wow.
Because for him, it's his whole future. For me, now it was just a
Stepping stone kind of
it was
thing.
a stepping stone that I'm done with. So I'm like, what's the point of trying to be hands-on and greedy, and fuck, even if I sell it and get a couple $100,000 for it, whatever.
You'd rather gift it to your
I'd rather
brother.
give
It's
it
probably
to my
worth
brother
more that way. Yeah.
He's earned it. And
No,
I'd like to. He's got a wife and kid and built his own house from it and done well for himself. So I know he can use it to create a good future for himself. So
Not sick.
yeah, so that's sort of where that's ended up now.
Big 20.
Quick ad break, but then we checked the camera. We've already done it over an hour.
Yeah, long time.
And I feel like there's a lot that you wanted to touch.
Bro, we've scraped the surface. Legit.
We got real deep, real quick.
Yeah, it was
eh?
good though. It was mad.
So I don't know. What do you guys reckon? We're thinking instead of, I think we could go for another hour easy, which is going to be too long for an episode. So
Part two.
if you guys enjoyed this, having Shady on, I guess, interview me for a change, we could do a part 2. If it's something you guys want to hear more or hear more of, or if you don't really give a fuck about me and you just want to keep hearing about the guests, we can do that too. Or if you want to hear a bit more about Shady, let us know, give us some feedback, drop some comments in. That was the quickest hour ever in a podcast.
That was fast.
I guess because I was the guest maybe.
Yeah.
Because normally when I'm asking the questions, I keep track of time. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, what's this? But
See, I don't even know what normally you'd run a podcast for in lengthwise. So
about an hour
Yeah,
and 10.
sick.
So, well, guys, if you just want more,
there's definitely more to the Troy Candy you see now.
there
so.
is. You made me think about some things I
Yeah.
haven't thought about in a very long time. There you
Right.
go.
Let's
All
do it. Done.
Cheers, guys.
It's Friday, then we going live again. So get your snorkels out and let me see some skits. Smoke tires, not drugs, what we teach the kids. Eye candy man, castrate that rapper, middle finger to